good night and welcome to another episode of Police Insight. I am your host, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. I'd like to say good night as usual to our Police Commissioner, Mr. Milton Daisy, our deputies, our Assistant Commissioners of Police, good night to you, the entire executive, gazetted officers, inspectors, sergeants, corporals, constables, both junior and senior, good night to you. Special police constables, special reserve officers, good night to you. Former police officers, city police, good night to you. Our brothers and sisters in law enforcement, the St. Lucia Fire Service, Customs Department, Port Police, good night to you all. Let's not forget Bodley Correctional Facility. Good night to you. And I think very soon I'll be seeing a representative of the Bodley Correctional Facility. I believe there is, I think, a week of an awareness of something that has to do with corrections. But that's for another show. So if you're tuned in, we're live also on the Choice Media Network Facebook page. Let me just try and get into that there now to see who's on. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can get there. All right. So good night to you for those of you who are watching on Facebook. We're live on Choice Television. So tell a friend to tell a friend that we're on. Folks, it's another week, and I have a very interesting guest with me tonight. Things are going to get heated tonight, but we have the right guest to turn down on that heat and cool it off. But before I introduce him, as you know, always have some notices. We have some notices and also some issues that we need to deal with. First of all, I'd like to say good night to the Lord family in Riviera-Mita, the Lord family in Riviera-Mita, and some of you who probably know the history and the name Valerie Lord. Well, the Lord family is having a memoriam for Valerie Lord in Riviera-Mita on April 4th, 1994. Sorry, let me take that back. This Thursday is the memoriam. On April 4th, 1994 was when my friend and former youth club president Valerie Lord was senselessly killed in Monchy. And as I said, this Thursday at 4 p.m., the family will be having a Valerie Lord memoriam at the Valerie Lord Avenue in Riviera-Mita. There will be speeches, presentations, tributes from various individuals, including yours truly. Yes, I shall be there. Valerie, from the information I received, that this Thursday, if she were alive, she would have been celebrating 50 years, and her brother, Paul Lord, is credited as saying that he hopes that the memoriam would serve not only as an event of reflection for Valerie, but also for all citizens who have lost a loved one to senseless violence. So once again, good night to the Lord family of Riviera-Mita. I'll definitely be there on Thursday. I have my own little tribute to do, as Valerie Lord was not just a mentor, leader, but also a friend of mine. So good night to the Lord family. All right, we have a press release from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Tevin, if you could put that up on the screen. So the Royal St. Lucia Police Force wishes to inform the public that despite our best efforts, the Immigration Department will remain closed until further notice. The building within which the department is housed is currently undergoing major repair and treatment works, which have forced the extended closure of the department in order to ensure the health and safety of staff and patrons. The issues confronted by the department do not allow for any of their services to be offered in-house, and as such, Temporary measures are being explored to facilitate the processing of only people emergency passports, particularly for medical purposes. Anyone with such a situation can call 456-3712. I repeat, 456-3712 for assistance. Kindly note that at this time, regular passport requests cannot be accommodated. We apologize for the immense inconvenience that this has caused and continues to pose to customers. Okay? And I know that is definitely something that some of us cannot understand in terms of there not being a solution, an immediate solution at this point in time. But like the press release said, if you have an emergent situation, especially for that of a medical service, please call 456-3712. 456-3712. The Royal Central Police Force and all other stakeholders, they are working as quick as possible to remedy this situation. As we know, it is causing a lot of inconvenience to a lot of persons at this point in time. All right, we also have a press release from the Meteorological Services. Yes, I got that right. Dated 26 April 2022. And it says rain showers expected over the next 3 days. Moderate rainfall expected over St. Lucia during the next 72 hours will raise the possibility of flooding in parts of the island prone to those hazards. Showers associated with a trough system is presently affecting the southern Windward Islands and is expected from today into Thursday. The chance of heavy showers and thunderstorms are possible. The St. Lucia Meteorological Services is monitoring the situation and will issue a flood warning for St. Lucia if conditions warrant. Residents and motorists, especially those in areas prone to flooding, are urged to be vigilant and exercise caution in their activities. All residents of St. Lucia are asked to pay attention to further announcements from the St. Lucia Meteorological Services and NEMO. Okay, so people, next 3 days, a lot of rain. I know some of you like that, like the conditions and the environment that the rain brings, but it also poses a threat to other citizens, those in low-lying areas. Agricultural activities could also be affected. Let's see what else we got there. I'd like to apologize for not being able to bring to you Nathan Timet's Know Your Laws. Today, the work had me today, so I was not able to bring that, so apologies. One last point before I introduce the guest for tonight. I know some of you, or most of you, I would like to believe, may have been watching earlier the Prime Minister's 2022-2023 budget address, and a lot of things were definitely spoken about. However, I just want to bring attention to just one thing. And someone could correct me if I may have gotten it wrong, but whilst listening, when it came to the establishment of the halls of justice, which according to our Prime Minister would be constructed in the area of the old police headquarters, he stated that a committee has been set up to oversee the establishment, I guess, and whatever that's needed for the construction phase, etc. And then he went on to outline the individuals that was part of the committee. I remember hearing the Attorney General and some other individuals representing different departments in the public service. However, I did not hear a representative of the Police Welfare Association. And in my opinion, I think that's important. So as a member of the Police Association, I would like to entreat my executive to ensure that, if possible, that a member of the police executive could be on that committee. After all, this project has a lot to do with housing us. Also, the Prime Minister announced the construction. Well, eventually there will be the commencement of construction of a new Grosley police station. And I know that our colleagues in Grosley has been waiting and waiting and waiting to see that reality of having a new home, a proper home, a proper police compound, you know. And definitely what they are going through right now is unacceptable. So, like I said, someone could correct me, but I don't remember hearing anything about a member of the Police Welfare Association's executive being on that committee, and I think it is important. So, we are going to take our very first break, and when we come back, my guest for tonight. Going to be very educational. Stay tuned.
Bank of St. Lucia Visa credit card for everyday people, everyday moments.
It's in our name. Fried chicken, it's our thing. Others may try, but we have the original. We put the extra and extra crispy. And our secret in everyone's mouth. So if we want to make the best chicken sandwich, we just need to put our name on it. New Kentucky Chicken Sandwich. An abundant triple-breaded filet, premium mayo and pickles, all in a buttered brioche bun. The best chicken sandwich had to be KFC.
You all right? Yeah, I'm good to go.
Are you the hunter or the prey?
Hadouken! Even dragons look up to the sun.
Here we go again.
Welcome back to Police Insight. Your host, once again, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Let's go into our quick shout-outs. Angela Hippolyte, how are you doing? Good night. Thank you for always tuning in. Tekla Preville, Sabina Charles, Glyn Prudent, good night to you. Those of you in the Facebook chat, Victor C. Anthony from New York, good night to you, my brother, always logged in. Anika Joseph, good night to you. Kevin Knight, good night to you. Tekla Lewis, how you doing? Nassis Moise, Nassis, what's up, my brother? We also have Emmanuel Lewis. Emmanuel Lewis, good night to you. Onela Joseph, good night to you. Cynthia Joseph, and also Johnny Josephs. A lot of Josephs in tonight. Yeah, good night to you guys. The Joseph clan is right there. And I also realized someone has mentioned Micah Joseph. So if you're tuned in, Mr. Joseph, good night to you. All right, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. My guest for tonight, we're going to be discussing fire prevention. Fire prevention. It's important. We've seen the news broadcast. We've seen videos on WhatsApp where persons have lost so much, entire properties, belongings, gone in seconds, in minutes, due to that element that we call fire. Very helpful to man, but if not used properly or ignored, very disastrous. And in studio with me is none other than fire officer. Well, I don't know if there's another rank or designation attached to it, but he'll tell me. But Fire Officer Mabius, and I hope I pronounced that well, sir. That's right. Mabius Francis of the Fire Prevention Department of the St. Lucia Fire Service. Good night to you, sir.
Yes, good night. Good night, St. Lucia.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Before we started, you said you had a long day, I could imagine.
Yes, it's been a long day indeed. It has been.
All right, so could you tell St. Lucia a little bit about yourself?
Well, yes, I am Mabius Francis. I am a station officer at the St. Lucia Fire Service. I have been with the fire department for the past 23 years. I am attached to the fire prevention section of the department. I suppose that's a department that most persons are not aware of.
Yeah.
You know, we see, well, you usually see our fire trucks on the road.
That's right.
You know, and the ambulances on the road. And by the way, many people don't know it's fire officers on the ambulances, by the way. Yes.
It's actually fire officers, not a different unit or different set of people attached to the hospital. Sometimes they think that.
Incidentally, the ambulance was under the auspices of Ministry of Health. That would be the hospitals. But since 1974, the fire department have been the one overseeing the ambulance, both in terms of providing EMTs and drivers for the ambulance. Yes, but tonight we're not speaking about the ambulance service.
Not at all.
Yes, fire prevention. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Fire prevention is the focal point tonight. Yes, so I have been with the fire prevention department, and many persons are not aware of it, but we are integral as in terms of the operations of the fire department, and we provide services for the entire island. Yes. So I have been.
So is it such as what someone wants to say? What does the fire prevention department do?
Yes. Well, by law, we are required to undertake inspections of commercial buildings to ensure that buildings are safe for its occupants, for persons who come in to patronize business places. So this is the most important service that fire prevention offers. Conduct inspections of business places.
And how long you've been a fire officer, sir?
23 years.
23 years.
I think that's a very long time.
That's a very, very long time.
Yes, indeed.
Okay,
yes, indeed.
okay. So, all right, so inspections, when you say inspections, is it something that a business must request, or is there a scheduled time that the fire service must go into particular businesses or areas and say we must conduct an inspection?
Again, by law, from 1973, there was an act of parliament that established fire prevention as an arm of the fire service. So by this, I mean the law as it's called, the Industrial and Commercial Building Fire Safety Act. Yes, from 1973. It states that the chief fire officer can authorize fire officers to go into business places to verify safety within such buildings, to ensure that it has a means of escape, that there are no combustible material that is stored unsafely, that there is a means of warning persons in the event of fire.
Interesting.
And other matters of safety. So we go in there, once the chief fire officer has mandated certain persons with that responsibility, we go in there to ascertain that these buildings are safe.
I see.
So it is actually a mandate by law. And there are penalties if you do not maintain such requirements.
We'll definitely get into that a little later because I want to know myself. Um, so let me ask you, according to to your statistics, what would you say is the predominant factor in the cause of fires, first of all in households and then businesses, business establishments?
Unfortunately, I do not have statistics with me tonight.
Okay.
However, the cause most predominant in buildings, not just homes,
Okay.
but also business places, is the use and misuse of electricity.
Interesting.
Usually, it has something to do with electricity. It's either the equipment, the appliances, the wiring fails and the fire starts, or someone misuses some electronic device and the fire starts from it. This is the predominant cause of unwanted fires in both homes and business places.
Having said that, I'll definitely eventually invite Lucilek on the show so that we could at least educate people on being a little more safe around the electrical products. That's very interesting. Sir.
Yes, speaking of this, actually, the laws of infrastructure indicate that your building, your home should be inspected every 3 to 4 years.
Are you kidding?
Sorry, 4 to 5 years.
I
Yes.
never knew that.
Yes, your electrical wiring should be serviced or inspected to make sure that it can handle the electricity flow in through.
And this is actually written.
It is written. And also for business places, every 2 to 3 years. So these things are written in law.
But are they being enforced? That would be something as hopefully we'll explore later on. This is very serious, people. This is very, very serious. Where I never knew that before. I am even shocked. My dwelling house should be inspected every 3 to 4 years.
4 to 5 years.
4 to 5 years.
Yes, and business places every 2 to 3 years.
Those of you listening in the chat, I want you to tell me how, if you have ever inspected your home from the time that you placed or run wires in it. Yeah, that would be very interesting to see what you guys say in the chat there, because I never knew of such thing. Okay, let's move on. So, one of the, especially when I was promoting the show on social media, something that came up very often, the burning of bush or other material on someone's property. It's a nuisance. And those I know, I've heard you before, you've been on this show before. Some people are still wondering, what does the law say? What can they do? Can they go up to their neighbor? What should happen? What's the procedure?
Well, this is a big problem in St. Lucia. Everyone is suffering from it. Even in my neighborhood, at times, the smoke is a nuisance. So this really bugs St. Lucians far and wide throughout the entire country. This is a problem. I don't want to speak from my head. Actually, the criminal code speaks to that. And in 2 sections, it speaks to this. Burning of land, and that's section 449 of the Labor Code. It says that before you set a fire to burn, whether it be for farming, whether it be for rubbish, to destroy rubbish, you need to seek permission.
You need to seek permission.
In fact, more interestingly, you need to give notice to your neighbors. And I think...
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
How many of you do that, people?
Yes, before you set that fire, even to burn rubbish, you need to go to your neighbors and let them know that you're going to do this, and they may be affected in one way or the other.
Yeah, and it's important because I remember seeing one of the comments where someone was saying that, my neighbor is burning the bush and my clothes that I just washed is hanging on the line outside, and the smoke has now come and engulfed the area. My clothes is smelling, etc. And also, you have citizens, people who are sick, elder individuals. So you are correct. We should be warning people. What? So after you've warned given them notice, what should happen?
Well, that's the first part. That's in one point number one in section 449. Point number two says that you need to seek permission from the authority to do this. All right. Now it speaks of a justice of the peace. Now we have many justices of the peace in town, but they are wise enough to send you to to send you to the fire department where there are persons who are more acquainted with fire, who can give a better advice on how to do it, if it's possible, and where to do it. All right? So I doubt you'd go to any one of the justice of the peace in town and they will give you permission.
They'll give you permission.
They will direct you to the fire department where you can get better advice on how to do this safely, and if it's possible.
I see.
So, for example, during this time, well, not today we have quite an amount of rain, and we are happy. Well, this evening, yes, and maybe tomorrow as well. But previous weeks, last week, for example, or even yesterday, it was really hot, dry. So we will not advise you to burn on such days, such times, because a fire can easily start and run away. And further to this, water availability may be in short supply. So this would be ill-advised to do in such a time. However, St. Lucians are very happy to burn during that time.
Burn everything.
Yes. But as the law indicates in point number 2, you need to seek permission from the justice of the peace to do this safely. And you need to prove that you can do it safely. The burden of proof is on you. You need to prove that you have seek permission from your neighbors, and you're going to do it. You have plans to do it safely. We will assess those plans.
Okay.
We will assess the area, and if it is fine for you to do so, we will grant you the permission to do so. But if we indicate that it is not fine, and you go ahead and you do this, you may be charged.
I see. And now, people, that's serious, eh? You may be charged. And this happens a lot, especially in our rural areas. And the fire officer spoke about his community, my community too. I think everywhere that occurs. So let me ask you. So let's say someone is getting affected. There's a fire on an adjacent property. The smoke is coming in, etc. They know for sure no one ever came to them in advance to say, I'm about to burn this, etc. And this person believes that this individual has not gone through the right channels. What can they do? Call the fire service right away?
Yes, they can call the fire service. They can also call the police.
Okay.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Because the criminal code is really enforced by the police.
That's right.
Yes. All right. So a police officer can actually come and investigate and find out whether you have permission to do that burning.
I see.
And one of the simple things that police officer can do is go to your neighbors, and ask, were you informed? Have you been informed of this person's burning? And unfortunately, this would be an easy way to to put you in trouble.
Yes.
Further to this, the police officer can find out from the fire department whether you have permission to burn. And we will not put our hands literally in the fire for you and say, yes, you have the permission to burn. So this could be witness against you. Both your neighbor and the fire department would be witness against you. So you do not have the permission to, if you do not have the permission to burn, please don't burn. And remember, you need to seek permission from your neighbors and also from a justice of the peace.
You mentioned a term there earlier on, sir, that the fire can run away. Can you really, can you put it in perspective to our viewers to make them understand how quickly that can happen, how quickly a fire can get out of control. Because some probably think, nah, I'm there, it's okay, I got it under control. Can you let them know?
Yes, oh yes. Fire is a very good servant, but a very bad master. And it takes very little for a small fire, a spark, to change into an inferno. Once there is material available, once a spark can find itself in that material, that fire will grow exponentially. And it will not play a fair game to say that it's going to wait for you whilst you go and get a garden hose. And even your garden hose may not provide sufficient flow, sufficient water, sufficient pressure to reach. And remember, it's hot. And human beings are not very good at fire. All right? We are not very good at pain. So a little heat, you will stand back, you'll stand away, and the fire will move, especially if it's a windy day. Especially if the material is dry, that fire can easily get away from you and you will be able to do nothing about it. And depending on the distance the fire department is from you, by the time we get there, that fire would have grown exponentially, would have spread and jump into your neighbor's yard, into their homes and other property, and lots could be destroyed in minutes.
Minutes.
In minutes, indeed.
Interesting.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, folks, this is very, very interesting. I've learned a few things that I didn't even know before, and I know that you've learned some stuff also. Most importantly, please don't believe that burning a bush is just carte blanche. You need to get permission from the fire service department. You need to inform your neighbors. Please stay tuned to Police Inside. We'll be back after this break.
Stop! Did you know that it's illegal to steal water? It's also unfair to paying customers and WASCO, and there's a possibility of contaminating the system. It is also illegal to supply a disconnected customer with a direct connection. The consequences include a fine of $5,000 on summary conviction or 12 months imprisonment. Call us at telephone number 457-3900 or come to our offices at Lance Road, Viewfort and Soufriere to speak to a customer service representative if you've been disconnected. A message brought to you by the Water and Sewage Company Incorporated, WASCO.
The Royal St. Lucia Police and Allied Services Credit Union Limited continues to innovate and remains focused on member satisfaction in this COVID-19 era. For these reasons, we stand proud to give our members an unprecedented opportunity to own a piece of St. Lucia and to create a secured future through our investment services. Now available at the Police Credit Union, 100% financing on residential land loans. Additionally, we offer a unique investment opportunity in our fixed deposit investment plan. Earn as much as 5% annually on your investment. And if you are looking for a golden opportunity for a supplemental savings plan for retirement or any other reason, you can now enroll in our Golden Harvest investment plan. The Royal St. Lucia Police and Allied Services Credit Union has remained committed to serving you in this COVID period and will continue to serve you in good times and in bad times.
Lighting is about security, knowing that you're safe and there's always light to guide your path. Lighting is knowing that you're always welcomed and that someone is waiting for you. Lighting is the friend who comforts and keeps you company in times of stress. Even when you're setting the mood or just upgrading the look of your business, lighting is there. Be the designer of your life and make the beauty of lighting part of your world today. For all your lighting needs and advice, come see us at J.H. Larcher's Electrics, your effective connection.
Welcome back to Police Insight. Sergeant Zachary here, and in studio with me is Fire Officer Mabius Francis, and we've been discussing certain elements of fire prevention. Let me just get some reactions here from the Facebook page, because you know sometimes when the lines open, we cannot get an opportunity to hear from you guys. Someone says, hey, good night, gentlemen. Someone here, Mr. Francis, is saying, it's happening as we speak,
Wow.
and the rain has caused it to create more smoke. So a viewer is actually going through this, where a neighbor is burning some bush. But you know what to do.
That's right.
Okay, my brother? You can call the police. Someone says it's like an everyday thing. Morning, good evening to you. Let me just read this. April 27, 2022 marks 14 years since police detective Constable Lester Gavin Remy was shot at Cicero in the line of duty. The Remy family are still grieving the loss of our loved one. May his soul rest in peace. Most definitely. Condolences, of course, to the Remy family. Someone says, big up the officers at the Viewfort Fire Station. They have advised me when I needed to burn the bush, and they were very accommodating and informative. So, Viewfort Fire officers, great job, great job. Okay. All right, so let's move. Let's continue. John T. Edward, Dadai or release. Good night to you. All right, let's continue the interview with my special guest here. So, in our discussions, I've learned of something called a fire safety certificate. I think that's the right term. Mm-hmm. What is a fire safety certificate?
Well, as I indicated, by law, we have this mandate to enter business places at reasonable times to investigate whether the building is safe. Once this building is found satisfactory in terms of how it maintains the whole use of the building, whether it's a factory, whether it's a church, whether it's a bar, once it's been maintained safely, the chief fire officer is required by law to issue what we call the fire certificate.
I see.
So this certificate would cover primarily the means of escape. That should there be some emergency, especially fire emergency, people can get out safely by doors provided, not windows, doors provided. Also that there is a means of providing warning of that fire. So you should have a means of providing, an approved means of providing warning to your patrons and also to your employees that there is a fire in the building and they can get out to safety.
I see.
You are required also to have a means of fighting the fire. All right? So fire extinguishers of the approved size and types should be also installed at your premises. As well, how you store material. What types of material do you have stored at your property, and how is it stored? Is it stored safely? That is very important as well. Would it easily give rise to a fire? Do you have it contained properly that should a fire start, that it won't spread? These type of things would be investigated, and if it is found to be done safely, you are issued that fire certificate.
I see. Is there a penalty for not having or renewing? Let me ask you, sir, the fire certificate, once it has been issued, how often must it be renewed?
Even before I answer this question,
Sure.
let me go back a little bit.
Okay.
You did ask what are the responsibilities of the fire prevention department. We are also a referral agency to the DCA.
Interesting.
Yes, to planning. So
Okay.
before any building, any commercial building or industrial building is constructed here in St. Lucia, the plans also come to the fire department. So apart from going to Ministry of Health and other referral agencies, it comes to the fire department as well. So we would review the blueprint, the layout of the building, to ascertain that it's designed safely. All right. So we do not wait until the building is constructed, but we look at the design to ensure that there is a certain level of safety incorporated in the design. Excellent. In terms of the layout, where doors are located, what types of material is used, whether the materials have certain levels of fire rating, that should the fire start, it won't spread so quickly that persons would have a chance of getting out safely. But especially today, sustainability is a major factor.
I see.
And so we would advise you on how to make the building safe, that your business would not be gutted should a little fire start. So all of these things are taken into consideration. So we look at the building plans and we would advise you on how to make it safe. Once you have taken in all the requirements in terms of the design of the building, we would return to that building once it's constructed before you occupy it.
Interesting.
To make sure it is safe. At this point, we will issue you a fire certificate once it's in compliance. It means that it has a proper means of escape. It has a means of warning its occupants, both patrons and employees, of a fire. It also has a means of fighting the fire should one start, whether it be an automatic system where you have a fixed fire suppression system like sprinklers, or portable fire extinguishers like fire extinguishers. Portable fire equipment like fire extinguishers. Well, it has this in there. And are your staff trained to use the equipment? Do they know what to do in the event of an emergency? Is there a plan in place? All these things are taken into context. And once this is in place, we will issue you that fire certificate. Now, the law which is found, I have not mentioned this one yet, the Fire Safety Act speaks about what should be in the fire certificate and how the period for which the fire certificate is valid. Now, the Fire Safety Act, which was written in 1973, says 1 year. But this act has been, parts of it
Amended
have been amended, and it can be found in the Labor Act, number 6 of 2011. This is a more recent document, and it states that it's for 24 months. All right, so we would return. Sometimes we can, if it's possible, we can return before the 24 months has elapsed to ensure that you're maintaining the fire certificate. And if we find that you are not maintaining it, by law, we can pull back the fire certificate because you are in violation of the law.
You can pull it.
Yes,
withdraw it.
we can withdraw it.
Okay.
However, the fire certificate on the normal conditions is valid for 24 months. At the end of the 24 months, it behoves you to request for another inspection to get a new fire certificate. If you do not do this, you are in violation of the law.
And there are penalties?
And there is a penalty.
I see.
Yes.
I see. Excellent. You mentioned about staff training to use particular fire tools and equipment. Does the fire service provide that training if needs be? Yes.
At this point, it's free of charge. Once the staff is available, once we are able to, we will provide training free of staff. And we have been doing this over the years. For the past 23 years that I have been in the fire department, I have done countless numbers of training sessions, mostly to business places. We do have public safety training in communities. We have had many such training sessions in communities. But over the years, we have provided many free training sessions to business places, teaching persons about fire and also showing them how to use fire extinguishers. So we have been doing this over the years. But now it may be a little more difficult since the pandemic. We have been inundated with ambulance calls, and we are still inundated. So right now it's a bit difficult to provide such training, but there are also many other companies out there, startup companies who are also providing such a service. So if you cannot get it from the fire department, there are other persons out there, other businesses out there that can assist you with that as well.
In terms of the fire certificate, I don't know, like for example, when you look at a liquor license, according to the law, it should be displayed in a particular area. The fire certificate, is there such a law, or is it could only be probably produced upon the request of probably a fire officer or the fire chief, or should it just be somewhere where it could be easily seen by anyone?
Yes, well, in the Fire Safety Act, or as it is more commonly known, the Industrial and Commercial Buildings Act, it says that you should have a register. All right? You should keep a register which says, which would have recording of the times when you have done drills, the outcome of the drills, the condition of your fire equipment and so forth, and also your fire certificate should be in that register. And you should be able to produce it whenever the chief fire officer requests for it, or if an inspector comes into that building to do an inspection.
Okay. In terms of inspections, Officer Francis, is your department in a position to do the amount of inspections that you think that is requested or required, or do you have challenges in that regard?
I would say with every other government department, yes, staffing is always an issue. But nonetheless, we do our best to service all the requests made to us. I don't think right now we are inundated. We are not inundated with requests. So it means that the public, the business public, is not really doing their part.
I would like to think so, yes.
Because the law requires them to request for that inspection.
Oh, I see.
Yes. If there is any challenges, it's in terms of following up on the certificates we have been issued. But not inundated with new requests.
I see.
And this certainly says that St. Lucia is not in compliance with the fire certificate.
And that's not good, people. And that's not good. Maybe so you said that the law speaks of the public making the request.
Yes.
Don't you think that it probably should be amended that the fire service doesn't necessarily have to wait for a request, but just go to different businesses and say, hey, where is your fire certificate?
Oh, yes, we can do this as well.
Oh, okay.
We can do this as well.
Okay.
We can enter any business place and require that you should prove that you have a fire certificate.
I see.
But also, the law places the onus on you, all right, to request it.
I see.
It's like a motor vehicle license, registration. You are required to have it, but the police can stop you at any point in time and require of you to produce it.
Yes, yes.
All right. So whether the police request of you or not, you should have your license, your vehicle registered, and have your license with you.
That's right.
All right. So the law still places the onus upon you, the owner or the operator, to have this license available.
In your experience, are you aware of any individual or business owner ever being, where first of all, the fire certificate being withdrawn, or any individual ever been charged, taken to court in reference to that section of law?
Let me say, fortunately for St. Lucia, yes. I'm saying fortunately.
Yeah.
We have not enforced the law to the T.
Okay.
As it is written, to the letter.
Okay.
We have not done so. And maybe this is one of the reasons why a lot of persons remain in violation of that law. But it really behoves business owners, to have that fire certificate.
It's important.
Yes. And by the way, it's quite cheap. Well, in terms of getting the certificate, it's cheap. But there may be some investment. There will be required some investment on your part in order to get the things necessary to have the fire department.
I see.
But it is always said that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, or more than a pound of cure in that instant. To every $1 you spend in prevention, you'll be saving $11, because a fire would take everything away from you. And if you, by the way, even in this economy, if you have a fire, it's likely you would have lost your business, because it's very competitive.
Yes.
And we are in a global economy. So if you are out for 1 day, for 1 week, for 1 year, someone will come in and take your place. You will no longer have the market share that you once have. We have a very small population, by the way. So if you disappear, you could be the best businessman. If you disappear from the market for 1 year, you will not find your footing that following year, because someone will come in to take your place. Someone will do it better, would have learned your methods and provide a better business. They would have taken your clients, and you will not have or be able to recover from a fire. And by the way, statistics, not just in St. Lucia, overseas prove this, that if you suffer a fire and you have been affected, you may never regain your footing. By the way, it's good to have insurance, but the insurance will not cover your clients. All right? Your clients will be gone to another vendor, to another service provider.
That makes sense.
And you will lose them. So don't think about the cost of getting the certificate. Think about your business, because for business owners, the bottom line is profit. So just imagine and just think about what you can lose should you have a fire. And by the way, apart from your business, remember your employees as well. Your trained, your skilled employees would find themselves in another business, right? And you will not be able to get them back. Sure. And again, we have a small population, and skilled people in your specific area may not be widely available as well. So if you lose them to another business place, it makes it even more difficult for you to recover. You would have lost your employees to another business place. And you would have lost your clients as well. So think of this.
Wow.
Think of this. Business continuity-wise, you do not want to have a fire. So the fire certificate would almost help you prevent having such an occurrence. But should you have it, your staff, your business will be ready to prevent the growth to a point where you lose your business.
Thank you so much, sir. The way you put it there puts it into proper perspective. We are now going to take another break, and when we come back, we'll open up the lines. Hope we could get some calls and also your reactions on the Facebook live chat. Stay tuned.
Luselect customers whose accounts are in arrears are encouraged to call or send a WhatsApp message to our credit control section at 728-9756, 728-9754, 728-9755 to make payment arrangements to settle your arrears. For bill balances, call our automated account inquiry service at 457-4433 and follow the prompts. Use myaccount.luselect.com to obtain detailed account information and make online bill payments directly to Luselect via debit or credit card or through your bank. Select the option to receive monthly bills via email. Customers can also pay bills through Shoppee's online or walk-in service.
Your vehicle insurance should never break your bank. With Beacon, you can get up to 35% off your fully comprehensive car insurance and still get full protection from unexpected damages with free loss of use, windscreen cover, and special perils. When it comes to your insurance, always be sure you settle for more. Call us at 458-5860 or log on to beacon.co.tt and get a quote today.
We heard you missed us, and we are excited to be back with Lifestyles with Candy Nicholas on Choice Media Network. We have great information on how to enhance your health and well-being. So join us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. as we discuss with experts on disease prevention, healing, staying fit, aging gracefully, the right foods and tools for health optimization, and keeping beautiful inside and out. Life-changing information, plus opportunities to win amazing health and wellness-related gifts. Join us Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Lifestyles with Candy Nicholas, only on Choice Media Network.
Welcome back to Police Insight. Your host there, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte. In studio with me Officer Francis of the fire department. We're going to open up the lines, Tevin. Open up the lines. I'm going to go through the Facebook chat. Let's see if we have any questions or comments there. And also, you could also send me some messages on the WhatsApp texting platform 7200401. I repeat, 7200401. I have a message here from former police commissioner, Mr. Severin Mosheri, saying, say good night to my dear friend, Mr. Mosheri. He said good night to you,
Good
sir.
night.
Yes, most definitely. What else we have here? Someone is saying, so why the last time I called the fire service for someone who was burning bush so close to me, they asked me to call environmental department of the Ministry of Health? Mr. Francis.
Okay, yes. At times, if the person is burning something and it's contained, and where there is no possibility of the fire spreading, or especially, in most times, the issue has to do with charcoal pits. This has been the perennial issue, charcoal pits, where there is no possibility of fire escaping the pit, but the smoke is a real nuisance. In that situation, charcoal is considered a commercial venture, a means of making a living. We do not find it easy to put out such a pit, all right, because it's contained and there's no possibility of that fire spreading and affecting someone else's property. So in this case, environmental health would need to get involved to ensure that the smoke is causing harm to persons in the area. It's an environmental issue at that point, not a fire issue. So hence the reason why you may be asked to contact environmental health to ascertain that that there is an issue in terms of that spread of that smoke and it's to the neighbors.
Okay, Evio, I hope that answered your question. Someone here says, welcome, Mr. Mabius, Team Nemo, servant colleague. They facilitate our trainings also in fire prevention. Excellent. Someone in the Facebook chat is asking, what action can be taken by the fire department to minimize the occurrence of bushfires, which seem to happen in the same location every year?
Okay. Now, fires are caused for many reasons. Some of them are caused by persons, whether it be they are farming and the fires get out of hand, or because of the type of grass which may be in a certain area which can easily ignite when we have the dry season. All right. So in certain areas, yes, these fires occur repeatedly during the season or every season because of the nature of the grass in that area. Some grasslands are more susceptible to being ignited, not just in St. Lucia, all around the world this happens, all right? So to persons who recognize this, please don't build your home in these areas because you're asking for problems for yourself.
Someone might say, but sir, that's why I get the land.
Yes, you might just lose your home as well.
Hold on, Mr. Francis, we have a call on the line. Let's take that call. Good night, caller. Good night, caller. Good night.
Zachary.
How are you doing, sir? Talk to me.
And your guest, Mr. Francis.
Good night. Good night.
I want to ask a question, right? For the upcoming Grocery Friday night activity, has the fire service given approval, and will there be a command post with fire officers present? As you know, it's a mass crowd event, right? So I just want to know whether the fire service will be given approval, and will there be a command post with fire officers, police officers, medical officers present on that meeting? Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Mr. Francis, care to respond?
Well, I can't speak directly to Grocery Friday night, but usually at mass crowd events, you would find the police to provide security, and
Yes.
also the fire department to ascertain that there is a certain level of safety within the area. Also the ambulance in the event that someone has a mishap or has a medical situation. But I can't speak directly to Grizzly Friday night.
Okay, excellent. But definitely when it comes to mass crowd events, the fire department plays an integral role.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
Okay, let's take that call. Good night, caller. Thank you for calling Police Insight.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
Yes.
Talk to me. You're live, sir.
Good
Don't
night,
listen.
my brother.
Yes.
And good night to your guest.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I heard the fire officer mention that. Yeah, I
Go ahead, caller. Don't listen to your device. Just speak to me through the phone.
I heard the fire officer mention about the house fires and the business places that normally goes up in flames as a result of electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to find out from him, is there a specific, I know electricity and water, they don't agree.
Yes.
So is there a specific kind of extinguisher that you use when it has to do with current, because or chemicals? Because I mean, if you walk into a business place and you see there's a fire and you do not know the origin of the fire, it would be wise for you to know what kind of extinguisher to use, and so that you cannot find yourself electrocuted if it is an electric fire. So are there different kinds of extinguishers for different kinds of fires? Thank you.
Thank you so much, caller.
Yes, that's a good question.
That's
a
an
great
awesome question, yes.
And hence the reason why business owners need to request for that inspection. Because when we come in, we would evaluate what processes you carry at your workplace, at your business, what you have that can cause a fire, and we will recommend the right type of fire extinguisher for you. All right, so there are different types of extinguisher which corresponds to different types of fires. So fire involving ordinary combustibles like wood, paper, cloth, and so forth, water can easily put out such fires. And there are actually water-type fire extinguishers. Meaning that in the fire extinguisher is water, just water, ordinary water. There are also fire extinguishers with a powder, all right? It's a chemical that can put out fires. It's a special chemical. Now, this type of fire extinguisher, we normally call it a dry chemical type extinguisher or ABC type fire extinguisher, meaning that it can put out different types of fires. It's a mixed type fire extinguisher, so to speak, all right? So you can use this on ordinary combustibles like paper, wood, cloth, and so forth. You can use it on big class fires, meaning fires involving flammable liquids. And so you can also use it on fires involving C class fires or fires involving electricity or flammable vapors. However, the rule of thumb is if you have a fire involving any that involves electricity or an electrically energized device, that you put off the power first and then you deal with the fire. That is always the rule of thumb. You put out the fire first and then you deal with the fire. If it's a fire involving a flammable vapor like your cooking gas, you turn off the regulator, the supply, and then you deal with whatever is burning. That's the rule of thumb. All right. So if it's ordinary combustibles, paper, wood, cloth, you can throw water on there. But if it's energized, if there's electricity involved, you isolate the power and then you deal with whatever else that's burning. Likely it's paper, wood, cloth, some ordinary thing. If it involves your cooking gas, same rule. You shut off the supply of the gas and then you deal with whatever else that's burning. And likely, again, it would be some ordinary combustible, or it may be oil or something of the nature, butter, fat, and so forth. So, but always go to the source of electricity or the flammable vapor.
You have a call, Tev? Okay, someone here on the Facebook, the Choice Media Network is saying, good night, and Hippolyte, and to your guest. A very informative program tonight. Can Officer Francis speak to fire safety measures for residences, for example, smoke detectors, extinguishers, which you've kind of touched on? We have had quite few incidents of house fires recently. Not sure if he has spoken to this earlier. So let's touch on different fire equipment or tool firefighting equipments probably available in St. Lucia. So.
Yes, but directly to the question, I would say the first place to start is with an electrical inspection of your home. Ensure that your wiring is safe.
Yes.
The wire gets tired after a while. By this, I mean that it's not able to carry the electrical current as it was at the beginning. Further to that, ants love your outlets. Yes, ants love outlets. And they will go in there and they will nest. And then you will have a great resistance between your conductors, meaning because of the ants and its nesting between the conductors, the wires and those points of contact, they will nest in there and you will not have a proper contact. And whenever your contacts are not tight, then you have arcing. That little, a lightning jump. All right, the current will try to jump between the gap. It will hit up the conductor, the wires, and a fire can start. This happens whenever you do not have a tight contact between the conductors. So that can be in your outlet. You try to plug the prongs of your power cable in there, and the contact is not tight. You will get arcing, meaning that electricity will try to jump between the gaps. You know, the wires will start melting. You'll smell the burning, all right, and the fires can start. So start with checking your electrical connection. Having done this, then you need to take ants. Yes. Oh, yes, ants. Oh, by the way, if your refrigerator is giving you a little shock now and then, don't live with it. One of these days, it will bite you. I mean, it will really shock you. All right? So if you keep on getting those little zaps from your refrigerator, from other devices, washing machine, do not live with it. Get someone to inspect it because you may have some kind of ground leakage. You know, you don't have proper grounding. You have maybe now and then your lights burning, or that's happening frequently. I've lost my earpiece. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Your lights burning or always flickering. Something is wrong. All right. Most times we get wired, our home's wired, and we live with it for forever.
Yeah.
But these things get tired. You know, they carry electricity. They get hot. They lose the ability to carry the voltage. All right. And especially if you're using heavy equipment that's drawing a lot of power, it's likely that it will get tired faster. That's why business places need to do that inspection more frequently. The period is shorter. But for your home, your appliances are likely lower in terms of the power consumption. So it will last a little, your wires will last a little longer. But you need to get it checked. Continuing with the house, you need to have a plan. Even before I go to equipment, have a plan.
Have a
plan. You need to decide with your family, should the fire start, where are we, how are we going to get out? That's very, very important. Don't take it for granted that if a fire starts, everything will be fine, especially if you have children, you have persons who are differently able. You need to have a plan for rescue, for getting people out safely. You may leave them at home with family members, you know. You need to have a plan and make sure they are part of the plan, they are aware of what to do. Because no matter how nice you've been all year round, bad things happen to good people. All right? Bad things can happen to good people. And fire is one of those all-season disasters. So you need to have a plan. You need to have at least 2 ways out. And I'm saying 2 ways out of every room. That includes your bedroom. Your window can be a way out.
Interesting.
But if your window is the way out, remember, if you have an elderly person in that room, they cannot go out. They cannot go through the window. Now, this is where having a means of raising the alarm becomes very, very important. You need to know that fire from the incipient stage. From the moment it has started, you need to be aware of it. So having smoke detectors, and smoke detectors are quite reasonable in terms of cost.
Interesting.
Yes, and they're available at most of the hardware stores around the island. And if you don't want to buy here, you can order it. All right, like you order everything else, you can order it. But it's available. You do not need a license to bring it into the country. You can buy these things and install them on your ceiling. Very simple to do so. And if you have an issue with it, you can always come to the fire department and we can help you, or we can tell you how to do it. But it's quite simple. But you need to get those detectors, place them in every bedroom if you can afford, and it's not that expensive. You can place it in every bedroom, in your corridors, at the top of staircases, because hot air arises. You can place it in those areas that in the event smoke is produced, a little fire, they say wherever there is smoke, there's fire. Whenever such smoke is in the house or in the building, you can be aware of it and you can take some action. You can get your plan into motion. Remember, you need to have a plan first. Then you can get it into motion. Everyone would have known the plan and they could act. So your children know they should not hide, they should get out. So don't hide, go outside.
Go outside.
Yes. I like this little line. Normally when I have sessions with the kindergartners, I tell them, don't hide, go outside.
Go outside.
You need to have a plan. All right? And that's what the plan would say to the children. Children have a way of acting like nothing is wrong.
Yeah.
Or if there's a fire, they believe they can hide away from the fire. And even adults try it too. But you can't hide away from fire. Smoke kills. And that's a fact. Smoke kills. And you cannot hide away from it. So don't hide, go outside. But you need to have 2 ways out to get outside.
We have a call, officer. Let's take that call. Good night, caller.
Good night.
Talk to me.
Yeah, it's me again. On the second thing, as he mentioned about a way out, and he mentioned about your window can be a way out.
If it doesn't have burglar bars.
I know now almost all houses in the island has burglar bars to prevent thieves from coming in.
I don't mind that's what you're
So
doing.
when you go to a business establishment and to put everything in place in order to get that fire certificate, what is the recommendation towards burglar bars in windows if that's the only way of escape you have? Because right these days I see people building houses on pillars and they only have one front door and the whole house is burglar barred all around the place. So supposing the fire starts in the way out, say in the kitchen where it's closest to the way out, and you're in the bedroom, by the time you take the smell and you get up, the entire front of your house is engulfed in flames. You're stuck inside. So will the fire service, would I say, inform the house owner that it is, do not put burglar bars in all your windows? I'm just thinking about that, as you said, that you can a window can be find 2 way out. A window can be a possibility because the height of some of the buildings we have now, the places people are building homes now, is not very flatland, because all the flatlands, most of them have been taken away.
Yeah.
So I would like to hear what you have to say in terms of some locations and the way the houses are,
Thank you so much, caller.
Okay.
Good questions.
Yes. Very good question.
Yeah.
Now, many people believe that firefighters just throw water on fire, but there is a lot of science behind these things, all right? And so when it comes to evaluating plans, it's not something that you just look and say, I think this is fine, or I think that this one is fine. There's a lot of mathematics that goes, a lot of science that goes into these things, and you need to do a lot of calculations in order to come up with how many doors the building should have, the size of the doors, how many persons can get out, in how much time can these persons get out at a certain walking pace. There's a lot of science that goes into these things. However, a window is not a means of escape for a business place. A window is a means of escape it's an alternative means of escape for a house.
Okay.
For your home, where you are very familiar with it. You live there, you're very familiar with it, and you can plan for that based on who is in your house. So a healthy young man can get out of a window if the window is of a certain height. Now, that window, as you well said, there is a height limit. 20 feet is the height limit.
Interesting.
All right? And that window needs to be of a certain size to allow a certain body size to go through it. So it's not any window, it's not at any height. The window should be no more than 20 feet. The bottom seal of the window should be no more than 20 feet from the ground. That you can get out, that you can hang from it, or you can tie something, or have a ladder. But it means, again, you need to have a plan. And you need to know who can actually use that window. Not anybody, but you need to make plans for who can use it. So your 60-year-old, your 70-year-old grandmother will not be able to go through that window. So a window is not an alternative escape for someone like this. Your baby cannot go through that window. All right? So you need to plan accordingly. So it's not something that's haphazard. You need to plan for it. Again, this is mitigated by having your smoke detectors, that it will give you notice very early before a fire gets to the point that it has produced so much smoke that you are unable to get out of the house freely. So it's not one element, it's a number of elements which come together to give you a holistic plan. Part of this is having two ways out, having a means of warning, and having your fire extinguisher to put out that small fire that has started. So the smoke detector will let you know of that fire very, very early. Once the smoke is produced, you will know of that fire, you can get your fire extinguisher, and you can act to put it out, while some of your family members get out of the house to safety. So everything comes together to give you the plan. And do not forget to call the fire department as well. All right?
Yeah. Some people still mistake the numbers, in terms of 911 and 999.
Yes, now.
Would you imagine that? Well, let's take that call. Yes. Good night, caller. Thank you for calling.
Good night. This is Sakari Sadafet.
Well, Ipana, can you buy?
Bonsoir. Bonsoir.
I have two questions for your guest. First thing first. As a boy, I still see they going around checking government buildings and houses and the places of government departments. When last did you all do that? Going and check government departments and different areas for compliance, whether they have fire extinguisher, whether they have fire escape, or whatever. When last you do that? That's number one. And number two, do you all have any forensic or fire experts in your department to say, well, a fire was caused by a candle, or fire was caused by electricity, or, and the list goes on. When that, because I have not heard any of that thing from you all there at all. So I want to know when last you all went and it's about one love. You have had no fire drill in around town.
Fire drills in
town.
You
all used to open fire hydrants. Look at when last. So, and how often you all check fire hydrants? So, my brother, I listening to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And great questions.
Yes.
Also.
As I said, it's by mandate that the fire prevention section do inspections. So we are all over the place doing inspections. All schools, government buildings, private businesses, that's what we do in our section. So we are actually actively doing this. Actually, today I was out doing myself. So this is something that we actively do. We may not be able to visit every government building in a year. I mean, again, the manpower issue is a limitation that we have. But we are actively doing this every day.
Okay.
All right, doing inspections. As for fire investigations, yes, we do fire investigations as well. Let me not just call it investigations, origin and cause, because investigation is a combination of the police and the fire department working together.
Yeah, but he speaks specifically of a fire forensic expert, something like that?
Well,
I don't know if
this has many components.
Okay.
This has many components.
Okay.
All right. Forensics is a section by itself
Mhm.
altogether.
Mhm.
But this is a very huge thing. All right. But we do original cause, which is part of the investigation. The police would be also working along with us, and the court as well. So this is a very extensive thing. It's not something that is that you can just come up with overnight. But we do origin and cause investigation to find out how the fire started and where it started as well. The police would find out who did it, and if they had an intent of arson and prosecute them in the court.
Which is a crime, yeah.
Forensic science would come in there to find out what was used, the nature of what was used. Was it gasoline? Was there any other combustible liquid utilized in there? And all of that would be utilized in the court to prosecute a person if you have a suspected perpetrator.
He also asked about, he said back then, he remembered the fire department, probably your prevention department, do drills, fire hydrant drills or something like that?
A lot of our fire hydrants are now underground.
Underground.
So yes, so in the days when we had pillar hydrants, you could have seen those pillars, metal pieces along the road with the two outlets. But unfortunately, St. Lucians were really causing us some pains.
Wow.
They used to push in the garbage and so forth in the outlets.
I remember you seeing that, yes. I used to see that when I was younger.
But now we have most of our hydrants on the ground. And this has its own issues as well because it requires more time to access those hydrants when there is a fire, and sometimes people park on there, and we have a lot of issues in handling it. So I suspect in coming years we may have to go back above ground.
But as you speak concerning to people parking probably in areas where there may be a fire hydrant, is there anything still in law where people should not be parking there? I think in the U.S. it's definitely an offense.
Yes, it is an offense. But in St. Lucia, I'm not sure it is articulated in that way.
I see.
But just knowing the use of these things, how important it is to communities too. Even if you're parked there, likely it means your home or your family or friend, your business is in that location. Please don't park on there. And I suspect some people do it unawares. They are not aware that there is a hydrant in those areas.
Yeah, because there will be no marking or sign, I guess.
Indeed.
Someone is asking on the WhatsApp texting platform, I have seen an advert for something called a fire blanket. How effective is that equipment?
Oh, yes. These things are very, very effective. It's likened to you covering a pan or skillet with the cover. So there's a fire in your pan, you cover it, the fire goes out. The blanket permits you to do this while protecting yourself. So you can wrap your hand in the blanket, it's draped in front of you, you can cover that fire or cover that skillet, that pan, and it would put out the fire very, very easily. You need to see it to believe it, but it works very, very well. And this is one of the things that we use as well, one of the items we use as well in our training to show people it really works. So if you have a fire involving oil, or butter or fat, and it has ignited, it's burning, it's flaming, please don't throw water in there. You'll have more fire. All right? The fire will spread as well. The best thing to do is to cover that skillet with a pan lid, with a fire blanket. You cover it, and that fire will go out almost instantaneously.
So that's what is a smother in it? Because
yes, smother. Yes.
The fire blanket, where is this sold, or where can you obtain it?
Again, it's sold in most hardware stores.
Is that
in
so?
St. Lucia. Yes.
Interesting.
And you do not need a license for it. Yes, it's available.
Okay, someone else is asking, any advice for motorists? Engine fires, should a motorist have a fire extinguisher on the vehicle?
Indeed, it's a good practice to have a fire extinguisher in your motor vehicle. A powder type fire extinguisher would be the best one to have in a motor vehicle. Some vehicles still do come with it, small one, 2.5 pounds. This is very effective in putting out fires. And yes, it's a good idea to have one on your vehicle.
Excellent. Well, we're about wrapping up, sir, so we might as well get down to your final comments, tips, whatever it is, for our viewers.
Yes, 911 was mentioned a short while ago.
Yes.
Incidentally, we have combined 911 and 999. So if you need the police, you need the fire department, you need the ambulance, you can call 911. We have a semi-central dispatch. So if you call 911, you will get assistance from the fire department, for the ambulance, and also for police. So in St. Lucia right now, we have moved to one number, 911.
I'm sure a lot of people didn't even know that.
Yes.
Okay. Final comment, sir?
Yes, I would like to remind every St. Lucian and people beyond our shores who are listening to this show, please remember that fire is everyone's business. All right, not just an agency, but it's your business. Your investment will suffer, your family will suffer. So do all in your power to help prevent fires. And it would start with you making preparation with where you live. Your house, making sure it's well wired. You have a means of escape. You have a means of warning. You have fire equipment to put it out, and everyone in your home is aware of the plan. The plan for the eventuality of fire or other emergency as well. It could be an earthquake. It could be a home invasion. You have a plan that incorporates every single person at your home. The very same thing goes to business places. You need to have a plan. And the fire certificate is to help ensure that your business continues. Without a fire certificate, it's likely that should you have a fire, you have not made adequate provisions to protect your business and to protect your staff and even your patrons. So please request for that inspection from the fire department for the purpose of receiving your fire certificate. If you have not, it means that you are in violation of the law and you can be prosecuted. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Francis, for being my honored guest tonight. I definitely learned a lot. I know you, my viewers, you learned a lot also. And if there's something I'll always remember, guys, ants. Ants and insects could get into our outlets and cause problems for our electrical components. So please, we need to get those inspections going. Business places and also dwelling, residences. I'm going to do it because I had no idea. I don't know when. I don't think I've ever done that. Yeah? So we got to do it. So guys, thank you so much for those of you who called in, sent your texts, and also commented on the Facebook platform. If it's a Tuesday night, it's Police Inside. I will be having the fire service over again. We did the fire prevention part of it tonight with Mr. Francis, but my next guest from the fire department will be going into operational mode, yeah? So have a good night and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bank of St. Lucia Visa credit card for everyday people, everyday moments.
It's in our name. Fried chicken, it's our thing. Others may try, but we have the original. We put the extra and extra crispy